getting to know each other, because nowadays people live together before they get married, but you still don't know each other until you're really married. I mean, so you got it in paper. That's why a lot of these marriages don't last, because they didn't really know each other, because you're still holding back. Whereas when you're married, everything comes out, good, bad, and ugly. Well, of course, we all loved going to Huntington when I was a kid. We didn't go there for the first time until I was 14, but then we went every year after that. But Dad, like I said before, was always was interested in things, and he would go to different places, and we'd go on long rides or whatever, or camp, or go to the beach a lot. We went to the beach a lot and stayed for 4 days. Not so much. I mean, it was exciting then, but now it's kind of, because you're sitting so much. And Dick isn't one to stop and see things like my dad did. I mean, he'd stop at every, nook and cranny to see what they had. And we had fun. We had fun, a lot of fun as kids, going to Huntington, playing cards, just getting together. It's fun, because everybody reminisces about whatever, and they connect again, because they don't live all that close, but they don't live all that far away either. But still, they're not in the same house like they were when they were kids and growing up. So it's I think basically we all pretty much like the same kind of outlets. Huntington is the big one. Yeah, everybody likes it. Probably a banker. I was in the banking business for 7 years. That was my only profession. I mean, I had other jobs, but until I got pregnant with Jason, then that was it. And I didn't work anymore until Luke was in junior high, Bank of America.
Okay.
In hindsight, I think I would have liked to have been like an archaeologist or something like that, where you study things and the history of places and finding treasure, not treasure, actual treasure, but something that was old and I think the main thing that I learned from both of my folks was that there was no prejudice. There weren't gossips. They didn't teach me anything bad, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things I just don't, can't put it into words right now.
That's fine. Mitch.
Okay, Mitch was my baby, my little guy, my sweet little first child. He was always very sweet, very kind of a people pleaser, very loving, sweet-natured. Dominique, my only daughter, was and is very special little girl. Always very pleasant, very social, like people, very affectionate, good mind. So many things again.
Jason.
Jason's next. Jason. Jason is one of a kind. He was a quiet little guy. He was my best baby. He only slept and ate. That's all he did. um, he was a deep thinker and still is. He's very literal. There's no shades of gray with Jason. It's what it is. Very affectionate. Quiet, though. He's my most quiet one. Morgan is another one that broke the mold. From the very beginning, he was not a troublemaker, but if something was going to go funny, it would be Morgan's fault. And he still is. He's a kind of a daredevil kind of personality. Fun. It's fun. Good. Another one with a good sense of humor. But if very, very mischievous. Chatty's next. Chatty was a little bit hyper. Chatty was a little bit hyper. And he was a kind of a loner. Smart little guy. He's opinionated. He was a good boy, good athlete. And Lukey was my baby. He was supposed to be a girl to break the monotony of the boys, but he turned out to be a special little guy. A lot of fun, very sweet, kind of like Mitch was when he was growing up. Loves his family. He was a good athlete too. It was fun going to their different events. From Mitch on down, the only one that wasn't in athletics was Domini. And so that was fun. But they were all good kids. I could be very, very proud of my children. They turned out very good, in my opinion anyway. And good citizens. Well, Mitch, I was working and Pappy was watching Mitch, and he went to his mother's house. And they were in the backyard, and Dick's father was making a cement block wall. And Mitch was with him. Dick was talking to his mom out in the yard, and Mitch was playing in the yard. This is before he was 2 years old. And Pepe, Dick's father, had some cement blocks just resting on each other before he put it on the wall. Well, Mitch was trying to climb on these cement blocks that were there. And one of the blocks fell and hit him on the leg. Well, he broke his leg, but Dick's mother said, no, he's okay, he's okay, he can walk. Well, Dick was bright enough to know that, no, something was wrong, because it didn't go out of place, but it made a big slash, and he says, no, he's going to have to get some x-rays. Well, I was at work, and I was supposed to meet them at home or whatever, and when I got home, they weren't there. So I'm calling Dick, and he says he's at the hospital. So when I get to the hospital, I found out that Mitch had a broken leg. I was furious with Dick, and here I had this little boy in a cast before he was 2 years old, and I was very upset with that. So it was funny in retrospect, but wasn't funny at the time. Domini, I can remember when she was an infant. One time I was alone in the apartment. We had an upstairs apartment. She would not stop crying. just screaming her head off. And this is like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so she should have been asleep. Well, the neighbors downstairs kept so I had to hold her. I had to, she wanted to play. I wanted to go to sleep. But she was just being a kid, so she wasn't sleepy yet. Jason, oh gosh, Jason. Jason was, he was out in the garden. He was about 2.5, 3 years old. He was out in the garden when we lived in Camarillo. And we found him eating tomato worms. And the other times we found him smoking, picking up cigarettes off the ground, taking a drag. And he was young. In fact, I got a picture of him doing that in some of the Huntington movies. Morgan, there was a lot of episodes with Morgan, but one time I was talking to the neighbor next door. This is when we lived in Camarillo. And, no, it was Ojai. I've got Morgan in my arms, and he's about, maybe 18 months old. He's shitting on my arm. You might know. He was, chatty. I'm sure he'll remember this one too, because he came running into the house, crying and screaming and going like this, trying to calm him down, so he can tell me what's wrong. Anyway, he was down at the empty field playing with Luke, and he picked up a Coke bottle that he thought had Coke in it. Well, it didn't have Coke in it. I don't know what was in it, but it wasn't Coke, and it was filled with ants. So he had ants all over him. Lukey. Oh gosh, Lukey. Luke had gotten a job with Safeway, and he had it for a week, and he quit. And when I found out why, I was very disappointed in him. He wanted to go on a school skiing trip, and he needed money. He also needed my permission. But when he did that and quit to get the money, he didn't get to go on the trip because I wouldn't sign for him. So that was, his plans went awry. And I didn't let any of the boys play football. They would have been good at it, but I didn't want them to be hurt and where I would have to take care of them, or if they had a really serious injury where they would be affected all the rest of their lives. I'm sorry now I didn't let them do it, but I think I would still do the same thing if I had that chance. Luke and Chad were buddies, and Morgan and Jason were buddies growing up. And Domini had her own friends, and Mitchie had his own friends. So, but they were, like I said before, they were good kids. Very, very seldom did I have to. They say I was mean, but I don't know that I was mean. Just tired. Oh gosh. That I was honest. No. Loved my family. Jason becoming a CHP officer was very proud. Mitch, when he had the courage to do his transplant. Being married for 50 years. Raising 6 kids, living through it. Every one of the grandkids being born. great-grandkids coming. I wish, too, that I had let the kids do more, what's the word? I didn't let them do a lot of things that their friends were doing. I think mainly out of fear that they'd get hurt, or I don't know. That was a fear of mine all through their. Well, it still is, that they would get hurt and be affected some way for the rest of their lives. Like being in an accident, or it was a fear. I think I probably got that from my mother too. Mother wouldn't let us do anything, but I tried to be better than that. I tried to not be like her, but I'm sure there was still a lot of things that they wanted to do that I didn't let them do. Like one thing, when we would go to the beach, and a couple of the Morgan's friends would come with us, and their parents were very, let them do whatever they want, and I know they wanted to go down onto the pier, which was way down from where we used to go to the beach. And I wouldn't let them. I wouldn't let my kid. They could go, but they were with me, so they couldn't go. Their friends, would have gone down, and they wanted Morgan and Jason to go down with them, and I wouldn't let them. And maybe I was just too scared. In hindsight, it's something I should have let them do more of, experience things. But too late now. Now they do it.
Now they don't ask for permission.